The explosion shook the ground before anyone understood what had happened. Dust swallowed the field, soldiers stumbled, and cries for help tore through the smoky air. And in the center of the chaos, a girl with trembling hands pushed open the flap of the med tent quiet. Unnoticed and underestimated by every soldier on the base, her name was Mira Lane. Most people thought she was just the shy girl who stocked bandages. No one knew she was a fully trained combat medic. Not yet. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. Mira froze for only a second. Just enough for her pulse to roar in her ears. Just enough to feel that old ache, the fear she thought she'd buried long ago. But then a voice cut through the haze. Minek, we need a medic over here. She wasn't supposed to respond. Bass didn't know she was certified. Bureaucratic delays kept her off the official roster. But watching two soldiers carry a bleeding sergeant toward her tent, she realized something harsh and immovable. Waiting for permission would mean watching men die. Her hesitation shattered. Mira grabbed her kit and sprinted into the smoke-filled field. Sand clung to her boots. Heat pressed against her skin. The world around her felt like a battlefield painting come to life, blurred and frantic, yet painfully real. The sergeant collapsed at her feet, blood pouring through the gaps in his uniform. Mira? One of the soldiers said in disbelief. Where's the medic? She didn't answer. Her hands were already moving, cutting fabric, applying pressure, sealing wounds with practiced precision. Her fear didn't disappear. It simply made room for purpose. Every breath she took was steady, every touch deliberate. More injured soldiers emerged from the haze, some limping, some carried, some barely conscious. And every single one of them looked confused when they saw her. The tent girl. Does she even know what she's doing? Who let her out here? But confusion slowly shifted to something else. Hope. Word spread fast across the field. She's trained. She knows what to do. Someone shouted. She's keeping him alive. Myra's heart hammered as she moved from soldier to soldier, stitching, wrapping, stabilizing. The ground beneath her shook with distant shelling, sending up clouds of dust that glittered in the harsh sun. Voices blended into a restless chorus, groans, orders, whispered prayers. Then came the worst of them. A young private, pale and shaking, with shrapnel lodged deep in his abdomen. Mira felt her stomach drop. Removing it without a full team was nearly impossible. Leaving it meant he wouldn't survive long. Her hands hovered. This was the moral cliff she always feared, the decision where right and wrong blurred into one impossible choice. If she acted and failed, she'd be blamed. If she hesitated, he'd die. The private whispered, "Please, help me." Her choice became clear. She slipped her fingers beneath the metal fragment, breathed deeply, and pulled. The private screamed. Soldiers around them tensed. Time stretched thin and fragile. Mira's hands shook, but her determination didn't. "Stay with me," she whispered. "Stay with me." When the shrapnel came free, blood surged, but she was faster. Bandages wrapped, pressure applied, her breath steadied. And slowly, impossibly, the private's pulse stabilized. The murmurs turned into stunned silence. It wasn't until she finished treating the last soldier that the crowd parted, revealing General Aldenstern, decorated and not easily impressed. Dust clung to his boots. His gaze swept the wounded, then stopped on her. "You," he said, stepping closer. "Who authorized you to perform combat medical intervention?" Mira swallowed hard. "No one, sir." "But they needed you, save them." The field fell utterly still. General Alden turned to the watching soldiers. "This young woman kept this entire unit from collapsing today. Without her, we would be counting bodies instead of treating survivors." Mira felt emotions surge up her throat, shame, relief, disbelief. It all blended into something warm and overwhelming. He faced her again, voice softer. "You aren't just a med-tent girl. You are a combat medic of the highest caliber. And from this moment on, you will be recognized as such." Applause broke out, hesitant at first, then swelling until it washed over her like a wave of gratitude. Soldiers she had feared disappointing now looked at her with admiration so sincere it stung behind her eyes. In that moment, Mira realized something profound. She didn't need a title to save lives. She just needed courage. Because real bravery doesn't wait for permission. It rises the moment someone needs help. And as the wind carried away the dust of the battlefield, she felt the truth settle deep inside her chest. Echoing back to that first trembling step outside the med tent, sometimes the quietest hands end up saving the loudest stories. Mira's courage moved you. Share your thoughts below. Tell me where you're watching from. And hit subscribe to Whispered Words for more powerful stories told from the heart.